Okay, everyone, welcome and good morning. We are starting our next new book club. Ego is the Enemy, and I will tell you, I'm already being challenged by this book for many reasons. I mean, number one, we struggle, and our ego, is our challenge every single day of life. But also, this guy is way smarter than me. And he is using words that honestly, I don't even know what they mean. And I didn't take the time to look them all up. So if you are feeling like I'm feeling, don't worry, because you know what? We are going to get what we need out of this book. I guarantee you, I promise you, we are going to work through it together. And I just want you to not feel overwhelmed by it and shut down by it. That is your ego if you do that. And we need to just stay in here and work hard. And if all you have to do or all you can do, if you're new to reading and personal growth and development and you need to listen to this book, get it on Audible and then plug into these book club calls and listen to what I have to share about it and what other people want to share about it, and you will get a lot out of it. And so just stay in here with us and know if you're feeling like we're not as smart as him, guess what? You're not alone. You guys, he is, and he starts out his book and just kind of, telling us his story and, the good version in the beginning, but he also tells us, that all the real parts of it that happen, behind the scenes and outside of just the highlight reel that, people like for us to hear and see. But he was a prodigy or protege, and he was that kid that everybody, saw had huge talents and gifts and wanted to help, him maximize those. I mean, every teacher, leader, mentor wants to help people use and become all that you were created and meant to be when you were, born. So that is normal, and that's what I wanted to ask you guys, because you know what? That's true of other people, not just him. Some of you may, know exactly what every one of those words that he wrote in this book meant, and you didn't need a dictionary or Google to help you understand it all. But if you are that kind of person that things just kind of come easy to you, I want you to be careful and evaluate yourself real quick. Like, how many things in life have you had to really, really work for before you got to Arbonne? What I love about Arbonne, you guys, is it is a level playing field. It doesn't matter how great you are at anything else in life. You are going to have to go through the same struggles, the same work, the same growing journey that everyone else who went before you and got successful went through. You're going to have to go through it too. There's no shortcut. There's no, way around it. And be grateful if you're one of these people that you have to work really, really hard for everything you have and you get. That was me, you guys. I was not a naturally smart person. I worked to be really, smarter than the average. My school was small. It's a joke in our family, but I was the valedictorian of my class, but not because I was the naturally smartest kid in the class. I was the one that had the discipline, the work ethic to go and grow myself to become a person that was able to do the work that was required of me. And that is what we are all learning how to do. Whether you've been somebody that has been, it has come easy to you on this journey in life, and you've always been able to achieve whatever it is you set out to do. You didn't have to put much effort into it. You could kind of breeze through school, breeze through college, do great at your job, get promoted in your job, and it all just kind of happened for you. You guys, that can be your worst thing that has happened to you, honestly. And I don't mean to say, and make you feel bad for being who you were created to be, because those are gifts and talents. But it's like when we did our book club call with John Maxwell. I mean, I did that book for 2 people in my life. And honestly, that's how we kind of restarted book club, because I said, I don't care if it's only 3 of us that get on this book club. We're going to do Talent is Never Enough with John Maxwell. And I did it for Lindsay Tinsley, and Patty Cummins, because they are 2 of the most talented people I have in my life that things have come easy for them. And until they learn how to become the talent plus person, that he created them to be, they're not going to achieve what it is they have the potential to do. And that's what I want all of you to look at yourself, because you've got to know who you are and how you've gotten through life this far, if you want to know how and what you're going to need to do to continue to grow on this Arbonne journey, because Arbonne will make you be a talent plus person on this journey. You don't get to slide in here and glide through here. You've got to work to become all that you need to be. So be grateful for wherever you are. If you are a naturally talented person, if you just add the plus to it, you are going to sail to the top probably faster than what some of the people that have to work harder are. But you each have your hard that you're going to have to work through. And that is where you need to figure out for you, what is your hard, so that you can start working on it. He did have fast success, but like I was saying, hard is your gift. And it all came so easy to him that he kind of, it wreaked havoc in his life. And as fast as it grew, it all also imploded. And you guys, that's what happens in Arbonne sometimes. I always celebrate success. You guys hear me say that all the time. I love watching people. I love watching fast success. I mean, I'm like, gosh, they just showed us what's possible. And if they can do it, we can do it. And that's what I love. But I will tell you, I also watch the fast success to see, is it sustainable? Is it something that's going to last? And is it something that, people are going to be able to handle? Because maybe their system is good and their system can last, but if they don't become the leader and the person that they need to be whenever they grew to that position, they're not going to get to stay there. And they're going to get humbled, and they're going to have to regroup and learn and fail forward in whatever it is their journey is teaching them, because we're all on a journey and we're all learning something. I love our compensation plan, you guys, and I love it more, honestly. For some of you that are new, you may not know, they've tweaked it a little bit, but basically, you guys, for 40 years, our compensation plan has been the same, and it has worked and helped people get successful for 40 years, because it requires us to always work. No matter how good you are, no matter what kind of month you have in your business, you know what happens at the first of every month for every one of us? It goes back to zero. And I will tell you guys, learn to love that. Like, I know some people go, oh, I had such a good month and now it's zero and I've got to do it all over again. That's your gift. That the hard is your gift, because you guys, we're not here to get a paycheck. Yes, we are. And I'm going to try to talk about that and help you see it. We're here to, it's fine to be here for a paycheck, to take care of your priorities, because that's part of your calling and your purpose and your responsibility. And if you can't take care of you and yours, you cannot help anybody else. So we are here to get a paycheck. It's fine. But what I want you guys to know is, are you here just for the paycheck? Or are you here to make a difference with this vehicle that you have been given, that gives you the opportunity to make the paycheck for your family, but to also help other families make a paycheck and to make a difference in their lives? You know how we've been sharing, Arbonne says, we don't want to be the best company in the world. We want to be the best company for the world. If we moan and groan and complain that at the beginning of the month, our stats went to zero, and you hate that, you guys, let that be the reminder. The instant you see that zero, if you think anything but, okay, who am I supposed to help this month? Who is it that needs health and wellness this month? Who is it that needs to level up this month to be able to walk more into the purpose that they have on, and the calling that they have on their life? Like, this is part of my purpose. This is my part of my calling. Arbonne is a vehicle. My purpose is to make a difference in other people, to empower other people to walk into their purpose, so that we truly can make this world a better place. And that's what this whole, like, they talk about, like, we've got to connect to a higher power. Whatever that is for you, you've got to connect to a higher reason for doing what it is you're doing here, and not let it just be something that is getting you out of a bad situation. Yes, it's okay to get out of a bad situation, but who else can you help do the same thing, so that they You're more free to walk in your purpose and make this world a better place. They're more free to walk in their purpose and make this world a better place. And with together, we're doing collectively a bigger and better good for the world and making it a better place. That's what we all are fighting, you guys. And that's what your ego will try to do to you. Your ego will try to take you off of that path for your purpose and make it about something else that has nothing to do with it. And it will eat at you, and it will rob you of the success that you have had. And it will rob you of the success that you could have if you don't always remind yourself and know what it is you are doing here on this earth. And the Arbonne is just a vehicle for you to do it with. That's it. That's all we're here to do. So you will see people, you guys, that get, super successful in Arbonne. And then you will be able to, down the road, someday you'll be able to, somebody might mention a name. You're like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot about them, because they are no longer even in this company. And yet at one point they were the MVPs that people were chasing after because they looked so successful. And again, it's not that they weren't successful, but they didn't keep their ego in check along the way. And that ego robbed them of the past success as well as their future success. So I always say, if you've never heard me say it, I always say humility looks good on everyone. And it's easier to stay humble than it is to be humbled. And all your ego wants to do is focus on you. And if you just always can check yourself, you know how when we do personal growth and development in these book club calls, I know Sherry Brown is always one that always talks about how, because of these, she's able to capture her thoughts quicker because she's developed the muscle in her mind to be able to recognize it and flip it in the right way faster. And that's what keeps you moving forward on your journey longer than getting detoured and, going down a rabbit trail that keeps you from moving forward towards your goal. That's what we're going to do with our ego. We have to start recognizing, and I hope this book, I know it will help us recognize when it's our ego driving us and when it's our purpose driving us. And that you will always be able to recognize it. And if it's ego trying to creep in there, you grab it, you stop it, you turn it off, and you turn the other way, and you go back towards your purpose, and you just keep walking in your purpose. And that, you guys, will always keep you humble because you're focusing on what it is you can do for others, not what it is you can be. And that will help you always remember ego is where it's supposed to be, because it's okay to have, we all have it, and I don't want you to be afraid of success. He had success and then it all imploded. I want us to be able to grow. And that's why I love doing these book club calls while we're starting VP leadership calls. You guys, you want to become a VP in this company so you can do more training and development with us together. We develop with you, but it's why we have to do this, because this company is growing so fast that if we don't grow as fast with it, we're not going to be able to sustain it, and it always be something that's good and good for us, because we let ego get in the way. He watched ego, cost people everything they had, and so he had in the prologue, he tells us he had ego is the enemy tattooed on his arm, and the obstacle is the way tattooed on the other arm. And you guys, I'm not a tattoo person. I know a lot of people are. No judgment. I'm not going to tattoo myself. But you need to have a reminder of what it is that keeps you on the right way, that the hard way is the right way, that you always want to be the person that takes the stairs, no matter how good life gets for you, that you become that world-class person that becomes more uncomfortable the more comfortable you become, because you hurt for a world out there that is hurting more so because and what they can have, and you also know where they still are, and you want to help be a difference maker to get them where they can be. So for me, my tattoos are my faith and my purpose and my calling on my life. And my other tattoo, the good ones that I want to follow that make me always take the hard path and never get comfortable, are my whys. And you guys, I know, who was it that shared that they have rewritten their whys 5 times? Miranda, this past week on our call. She had rewritten her why list 5 times. Your whys will change, you guys, as your paycheck grows, because you're going to accomplish those things that you have for yourself and your family. And then also the things that, you can start looking outside of those basic needs, like Dr. Tom Barrett talks about. We have, the four levels of dreams, and the first level are practical. I just want to be able to pay my bills and not worry or stress about it. That's okay to have that dream. And then the next ones are fun dreams. They're, let's do a little fun in all of this. The next one are meaningful, where it takes more time and money. And then the other ones are significant, the ones that truly are going to change this world and make it a better place. And so those are the kind of dreams that we have. And we also have those as whys. So your whys are going to grow, your whys are going to evolve. You need to know what your whys are, you guys, because they're your compass, and they need to be something that's bigger than you. You're going to have to challenge yourself to dream and to be able to believe that you have the power to do something with that kind of audacious dream or why that you have written down on that piece of paper. But they need to be there, because they will be your compass. Like on the days that this business is hard and your ego isn't thinking it can handle any more punches to it, you guys, because it is hurting if people don't respond to me. It is, hurting if people, question my integrity. It is hurting if I think that, if they start telling me that I only want to be their friend because I want them to do Arbonne with me. You guys, your ego is going to get punched on this journey on the hard days. And if you let your ego be what drives you, you're going to let those things stop you. But if you have your faith and you have a bigger purpose and a bigger calling, and it may not be able to help it and make a difference in these people's lives, but it's still your job to keep moving forward to make a difference in somebody else's life. And if you stop, you're not walking in your purpose anymore. And so I can't let what other people think of me take me off of my path and my purpose for my higher power. It's not going to be what I do for my life. You got to decide what it is for you. If you look at your whys and you go, okay, these people are telling me all of this, but your whys are still sitting here staring at you. Are they big enough to keep you letting hard be the way? Are they big enough to let hard still be the way for you, even though you're getting your ego punched up a little bit? Can you keep your ego in check and keep faithful to your purpose and your whys? That's the head check you need to be able to recognize and immediately flip, or you're going to get deterred from your path and you're going to go zigzag your way to the top, which is going to take you forever, instead of going straight to the top. That's what you have to do. And you guys, we all have to do it. There is not any one person that is immune of ego. We all have it. And so we all have to be aware of it. We all have to recognize it. And we have to have whatever tattoo you use to be able to keep you on the straight path for you. And remind yourself that Arbonne is just a vehicle. And you guys, it's a vehicle that is absolutely going to get you a bigger paycheck. And it's going to help you get a bigger team. And it's going to help you do all of these things. But you guys, what you need to tell yourself and keep reminding yourself is that all that represents is how much good and difference you have made in your world, and how faithful you have been with this vehicle that you have been given to do it with. A bigger paycheck means if your check is bigger, there's a whole lot of people that have gotten a bigger paycheck for their whys and their purpose and their calling. If you have a bigger team, you have more people that are working this business to get to their whys, their purpose, their calling. All it means is it's a reflection of the work you are doing for others, and stay humble in it. It has nothing to do with you. And the other thing that I wrote in here somewhere that is important is that you have to stay where you're not the person that tries to be in control of everybody else. I was listening to some other things in here, and it was Wayne Dyer, and he was talking about how the ego wants to dominate instead of be tolerant. And you guys, I was such a control freak. I mean, Some of you may still think I am. It's part of my ego that I work on and that wants to creep into my life. I was a control freak. I will tell you, I'm not that much of a control freak anymore. I do all that I can to help you do all that you can. But then once I've done what I can, the rest is between you and your higher power. And I have to let it be because I have no control. I'm not a boss. I can't fire you. I can't, rehire you. You hire or fire yourself. And that is all on you, not anything that I can do. But what we have to know is that we don't have that power, you guys. We don't have the ability to control other people. And it's your ego that wants to overpower other people to do what it is you want them to do. And this journey, you're leading yourself well. When you lead yourself well, all other things will be as they should be. But if you are trying to lead and make other people do what it is you want them to do, you're just going to be frustrated. And when you are frustrated with a team that isn't doing what you want them to do, you need to know that's your ego speaking to you. And you guys, I'm not saying you're a bad person because you think that. I've thought that. I get frustrated with people if they don't do what I want them to do, because I know if they just did what I wanted them to do, they would have all that they wanted and needed. And the reason is good. But what we have to know is that we don't have that control. We don't even need to be working to have that control, because that will take your focus off of what you can do to continue to lead yourself well and find the next person that you can help that will follow you and take your help and guidance and apply it to their life for their purpose and their calling. So what Wayne Dyer was saying is that love and tolerance is what we want. Ego will want you to do overpowering and dominance. And so just use it as a way to go, okay, am I feeling frustrated? And yes, it's because we care, but it's also your ego, you guys, that is telling you, they should just do more of what it is you want them to do. Just send the message, give people the message. And that's where I'm like, why I use the ask that I use and that we use, the 5 key point ask. I do my very, very best to help people. And you guys, voice texting is where people are going to hear your heart and hear your genuine voice of what you want for them, and let ego, be more out of it than what they would like for it to think that it might be. But what you do is you connect it to them and you help them know why it is you thought of them, so that they can see it. And I tell people, just hear it, because I can't sleep at night whenever I know you think you don't want this, but you haven't heard it yet. And you don't know what you're saying no to. So please just listen so that I can sleep. I mean, that does have an I in there, and it's focusing on me, but it's my genuine way of saying, I cannot sleep until I know you know what it is we have that could help you walk in the purpose that I see for you, and how it can help you fulfill that purpose for your life. So that is how, I kind of like make sure that that I control people, I guess, in a way that I let them at least hear it. Once they hear it, they do what they need to do with it, and it's between them and their higher power, and whether they want to use this as a vehicle to get that to walk in their purpose or not. For the team, like when you have a team and they aren't doing what you want them to do, all we can do is we can listen to understand, and we can help coach and guide them and navigate them through and around obstacles and hesitations. But once we've given them the know-how, it's up to them to do the do-how. And either you will or you won't, you guys. When you get advice, do you put it into action, or do you have the same conversation again the next time? Because Cecilia Stoll, our 12-wide MVP, who is, definitely, driven by success, she is also here to make a difference. I mean, the reason she still passionately works in her business today is not because she needs a bigger paycheck, but it's because she is here to make a bigger difference and in this world. And she's not going to spend the same time with the same person on the same thing if we in order to, because it takes her off of the purpose and the mission that she has to make this world a better place. So once we give you the know-how, tell us what you're doing to put it into the do-how, like John Maxwell taught us last week. So that's where I think we can be less, ego controlled with our team, and even our family and our kids. You guys, I mean, all we can do is lead our kids, and we have the power, to put limitations on them and to guide them with those kind of things. Guess what? In your Arbonne team, Arbonne does that for you. Like, I don't have to do anything to my team to punish them or put a limit on them. They've put a limit on themselves. They've limited what Arbonne gets to send them as a reward for who it is they're helping make a difference for, because they didn't help make that much difference for very many people. So you don't have to worry about it. Arbonne will be the parent in this for your team. But you can let go of that and quit letting it be what frustrates you, because it's just your ego wanting to control that. And all you can do is all you can do, and then move on and let the rest of it let the rest of it play out between however they're going to do it. He says that ego has always been here for us, you guys, but what is scary is that now it's emboldened, is one of those words he used on page 4. He says, now more than ever, our culture fans the flames of ego. And he says it's never been easier to talk and to puff ourselves up. We can brag about our goals to millions of our fans and followers. He says things that in the past that only rock stars and cult leaders used to have. We all have that now, you guys, because we have this social media following that, we all work to build, because it is putting us out there in the world for to connect and grow our network, which we have to get good at. There's a skill in that, and if you don't develop that skill on this journey, you won't be able to get to the people that you could help with this vehicle and walk out your purpose in a bigger way. But you guys, people get more wrapped up in what people are thinking about them instead of using it as a way to just reach more people. And that's all it is. It's like, we have these 30-day clean eating groups. You know what that is? I mean, I don't love, seeing my name pop up on a question or whatever. It doesn't boost my ego at all. But I'm so excited and grateful for the vehicle to help more people be empowered to take control of their health and wellness, so that they can be and have the energy, the vitality that they need to walk in their purpose in a bigger way. Those are the cool things. It's not seeing your name in lights, you guys. It's using that and keeping your ego in check with that, so that you can use it to grow your network, to access more people, to empower them to walk into their purpose. So he says that we can, if we're not careful, we name ourselves CEO of a company that truly exists only on paper. And we announce big news on social media and let the congratulations roll in. We can publish articles about ourselves, which are our posts, and in outlets that are used to be sources of objective journalism. Some of us do this more than others, but it's only a matter of degree, because we all do it. So you guys, we all do social media. If we're smart, we do it, because it's a huge, powerful vehicle. But make sure you are using it and not letting your ego make it a stumbling block. He talked about a lady who was aspiring to do something in the world, and she started like building her presence on social media and realized that after a year she had done nothing. And you guys, that's what happens sometimes when we start just focusing on social media, but we have no activity on our calendar. We're not doing anything to further our purpose. We're not doing anything to make a difference in this world and make it a good thing, you guys. We have to have activity if you're going to spend time on your social media. So if you don't have a full calendar, don't spend time on social media. Go get the easy stuff. Go get what you can. Go talk to your sister, your mom, your cousin, your best friend, people that you do life with, and ask them if you can connect to them and some of their people to be able to go out and share the good news that you have with their world. And if you can do that on social media and you're getting people to connect with you on that, It is an absolute beautiful way to do it, but don't let it be something that just puts you out there, making you a CEO of a paper business. It needs to be a people business that you're doing this for, and that it is the goal of why you're doing it. And you guys, don't hide behind it, because I will tell you, that's where your ego can play too. Your ego can say, you're working your business if all you're doing is posting, and you're like, but I work my business all day. He says, he talks about, I don't know where it's at in here, but he talks about talk. And sometimes we're just talking, and we're posting stories, but we're not doing any booking of activity, virtual or in person. And if we're just talking on our social media and telling about Arbonne and sharing about ourselves, but not booking anything on that, we're not using this vehicle to its highest power and fullest potential. And so just don't let it be something that puffs you up bigger than you are, because you can make yourself look good on social media. Be real, you guys. That's the best. I mean, everything that connects to people in the biggest and best way is just being real with people. The posts like, gosh, I can't remember her name, sweet girl that did one of our very first social media calls. She's from Canada, and she was pregnant, and she showed her post of what she had on social media, and it was her kids all, disheveled, and just being real and relating to other moms who have, their kids look like that, and it's like that we're not perfect, but we're doing our best anyway. And we're giving and showing people what we do that gives them tips and ideas to be able to do it better too. That's a good way to use social media and to connect with people, but not just giving them our highlight reel. He says, the goal is the aim of that structure, he says, let me see, where are we at? Aspire, success, and failure. He says the aim of the structure is simple: to help you suppress ego early before bad habits take hold, to replace the temptations of ego with humility and discipline when we experience success, and to cultivate strength and fortitude so that when fate turns against you, you're not wrecked by failure. In short, he says, if we can learn to keep our ego in check, it will keep us humble in our aspirations, gracious in our success, and resilient in our failures, on page 6. So this is not to say that we are not unique and that we don't have something amazing to contribute in our short time on this planet. That this is not to say that there's not room to, feel inspired and be truly ambitious to change something and be innovative. He says it's just that we need to make sure that we keep our, the risk is that we get out of balance, that we always keep our balance of what it is we're doing, who we are, and why we're doing it, and that it doesn't matter if it's not perfect or we're not always at the top every time. So humble in our aspirations, gracious in our success, resilient in our failures. That's our goal, you guys. That's our goal with our life, because we're going to have success, aspirations, and failure in, oh my gosh. Did I just lose everybody?
No,
sorry.
Carlita, I still hear you.
You still here? Okay, my computer just blanked off. Sorry. Okay, good. Thank you. So that's our goal, you guys. And your ego can be managed. It can be directed. And so that's the good news. Don't let ego scare you. Just know that you need to be aware of it, and that we need to always make sure that we are, getting it back on the right in the right direction. When we remove ego, he says we're left with what's real. What replaces ego is humility, but rock hard humility and confidence. Whereas ego is artificial, this type of confidence can hold weight. Ego is stolen, confidence is earned. Ego is anointed, its swagger is artifice. One is girding yourself, the other is gaslighting. And the difference is it's the difference between potent and poisonous. So you guys, let's go, and instead of stealing our confidence, let's earn our confidence by doing all that we know we can do and are learning to do. And let's always choose humility and not choose ego to drive us. Because you guys, when you choose humility, you're choosing because you are wanting to be part of something bigger. You're choosing because you are excited to be. I love that Arbonne is on the mission and the journey that they're on with making this world a better place, and that we can get excited that we're part of something bigger than us. Like, if you've struggled, with people thinking that you think that you're asking them to do this business with you because you want it to be about you, that is so easily fixed today just by sharing the company vision and mission that they have, and being passionately excited about being a part of that and inviting other people to it. It doesn't have anything to do with you. It just puts a responsibility on you to be able to share that with your world, because it is a good thing that we are doing for our world. And if people don't want to do it, we control our ego. We don't let dominance, as our desire to dominate people, affect us. We just keep talking to the next person. But always, you guys, before you go on to the next person, make sure that you are doing all you can to make sure they've heard it first. Until they've heard it and gotten to see it and done a take a look, they don't know what it is you really are trying to share with them. So we're not trying to dominate people, but we definitely need to make sure that they are equipped to make those kind of decisions about whether or not this is something that they would like to use to walk into their purpose with you. And if they haven't heard it, they don't know what they're saying no to. He says, among men who rise to fame and leadership, two types are recognizable: those who are born with a belief in themselves, and those in whom it is a slow growth dependent on actual achievement. To the men of the last type, their own success is a constant surprise, and its fruits the more delicious, and yet to be tested cautiously with a haunting sense of doubt whether it is not all just a dream. In that doubt lies true modesty, not the shame of insincere self-depreciation, but the modesty of moderation. In the Greek sense, it's poise, not pose. And you guys, blow your own mind. Like, do all you can do to help other people and to make a difference in this world with this vehicle, and you will have wild success. Trust me, that's how I got successful. Was I just came in here passionately excited about what I had to be able to offer the world that I knew needed help and a vehicle to walk in their purpose. And I went out and I got successful, and I didn't even know how I got successful. And I was surprised, and I doubted that I could even keep that success. And I'm not trying to say that I've never struggled with ego, you guys. I'm just saying, if you focus on other people, you will be surprised what you do in this business. That's what happened to me on my journey, and really still happens to me to this day. Whenever when people say, well, tell us your highlights, tell us your story. And it's kind of like his story, the hard parts are all in there, but you just talk about, this is the achievement, that's the achievement, that's the achievement. And when you look at the achievement, you're like, that's crazy. Like, how did that happen? But you guys, I know how it happened. I know that I just ran with this vehicle and tried to be as faithful with it as I can, and not worry if people didn't really trust the heart that I had in it for them. I just stayed faithful to my one higher power that I was living for and walking for in my purpose, and knew that this vehicle was just a gift for me to be able to do that with. That's it. That is all it is. And yes, do I have to remind myself whenever I see the numbers, and the position that I get to be in the company, I have to do exactly what I've just been telling all of you. You know what? It doesn't matter if I'm number 10 or if I'm number 50. What it means is I need to check myself. And if I'm dropped from 10 to 50, what do I need to do that I maybe not do anymore to continue to make a difference? And have I gotten comfortable being comfortable? Or if I've done all I can and other people are just doing, more than me, because in this day and time, it can look different, then it's okay. I don't care if I'm 10 or I'm 50, I'm still helping people. And that's the goal of this vehicle. That's the goal of your purpose. And it is not about you. And if you can make this not about you, this life not about you, your life will surprise you at what you do end up doing. But stay humble in it and let the fruit always be more delicious, because you are. He says, our culture values almost try to make us dependent on validation, entitled, or ruled by emotion. For generations, he says, parents and teachers have focused on building up everyone's self-esteem, and that they tell us that we can do whatever we set our minds to do. He says, in reality, this makes us weak, he says, because you, with all your talent and promises of who you're going to be, he says, we take it for granted that you have that promise. It's why you've landed in the prestigious university. It's why you have achieved and gotten what you have. It's that talent thing, you guys. You have the talent, and you deserve to be where you are because you're this kind of person. But he says that it's the man that comes from nothing and has accomplished great things without ever feeling that he has, that he was in some way entitled to the honors that he receives, and happy just to contribute to a winning team, even if it meant less credit or fame for himself. So you guys, talent is just your starting point, he says. You've got to add the talent plus, and not let your ego think you're better than you are, and that it's all just going to happen for you. And I love this journey, you guys. The hardest part about this business is probably boils down to just that, getting your ego in check. That you're not going to just get to have this because you've naturally been good and done good in your life. You are going to have to build that slow confidence in this business on this journey, just like everybody else did. And it doesn't have to be slow. It can be fast, but it has to be fast because you're out there using it to help make a difference in other people's lives. And if you do, remember that even when you get to the top. People say, I want to go get my car so that people will believe in me. Don't say, I want to go get the car so people can believe in me. Say, I want to go get the car so that it will represent what I've done to help other people. Like, that's all this is. Anything we get for recognition and show is because of what we've done to help other people. And he says, talk. We've talked a little bit about that. Getting public recognition and credit. And he says the side we call ego, and we want to make sure we're doing, you guys, and then just be grateful for the recognition that comes, but don't do it because of the recognition. Let me see. So to be or to do. So let's be and do. And he says to be or to do. He says on page 31, you will have to make compromises and you will have to turn your back on your friends, but you will be a member of a club and you will get promoted and you will get good assignments. If you can stay connected to your purpose, you guys. I had to turn away and walk away from people, not that I did life with, but I had to quit doing life like them to start doing life like I knew I needed to walk in my purpose. I still have all those people in my life. Their journey took them in direction. My journey took me a direction, and I had to turn and walk in that direction, or I would have never been able to succeed in what it is that I was supposed to do. So to be or to do, which way will you go? Will you, he says you won't have to compromise yourself. You will be true to your friends and yourself, and your work might make a difference to be somebody or to do something. And you have to decide which one you want to do. Whenever you seek to do in life, reality soon intrudes. And he says, in every case, they can quickly direct us from doing to being, from earning to pretending. Ego aids in the deception every step of the way. And we easily find ourselves corrupted by the very occupation that we wish to serve. This business can corrupt us, you guys, because there is so much recognition, and recognition is why people do some of it. But be proud of the recognition because you've helped other people in it, and that you're proud of that paycheck and the numbers of fans you have because you have earned the right to be truly impressive. He says having authority is not the same as being an authority, and having the right and being right. Impressing people is utterly different from being truly impressive. Be truly impressive because of who you are and how you've done it and how big you have done it and how big a difference you have made in this world. That's what's truly impressive. And Cecilia is truly impressive because she has done it so well, and she does it to make not the biggest paycheck, but to make the biggest difference in her world. And not that she hasn't had to fight ego, you guys, because it's going to be there at every turn. And this business makes you more vulnerable to it. He says it comes down to purpose. What is your purpose? What are you here to do? Because purpose helps you answer the question, to be or to do. And if you want to be, you look for the personal ease in life. And you look for the path that is, least resistant, not that the path is the hard way. And he says, if your purpose is something larger than you, then you're going to want to accomplish something, to prove something to yourself. Then suddenly everything becomes easier and more difficult. Easier in the sense that you know now what it is you need to do and what is important to you. You guys, when you really learn what your purpose is and you look at this vehicle and you figure out how it's connected to your purpose, it's going to make it harder because you're going to feel more convicted in what it is you're here to do. And you're going to have to work harder at making that, making it what you do in life. He says the other choices wash away as they aren't really choices at all anymore. Once you know, you guys, they're just distractions, and it's not about doing, it's not about the recognition, and it gets easier in a sense that you don't need to compromise harder, because each opportunity, no matter how gratifying or rewarding, must be evaluated along strict guidelines. And here's the guidelines, you guys. Everything you get and do, is it helping you do what you have set out to do? Does it allow you to do what you need to do? Are you being selfish or selfless? And you always have to go back and weigh it against that. And is this vehicle, you guys, helping you do what you are supposed to do? Ask yourself that. Is it? And are you talking it or are you doing it? Because if it is here to help you, then we got to get up and we got to do it. What is it that you want to accomplish in life? What calling does it serve? What principles govern your choices? Do I want to be like everyone else, or do I want to be something different? Although it's never too late to, the earlier he says you ask yourself these questions, the better. Do I need this? Is it really about ego? You guys, I need Arbonne. I need Arbonne to live out my purpose. If I don't have this vehicle, I don't have the people, and I can't make as big a difference in this world, because I'm not going to be working to empower and equip and help as many people, because I don't have the access to more people in any other vehicle for my life than I do in Arbonne. I need Arbonne, not for my ego, but for my purpose. So you guys, let's all work to be difference makers, not title chasers. And let not our ego be something that is going to make us feel uncomfortable about what other people think of us, because you know what? We're here listening and living for our higher power and using a vehicle faithfully that we have been given to do it with. So what did you guys get out of all of that? And it may be completely different, because you guys, I had to read this. I mean, I have no idea how many times I had to go through this to be able to get really anything out of it, and study other things to try to understand it well enough to communicate it. And I'm sorry if it was rough, but help me out. What did you guys get?
Hey, Carlita.
Yes, Whit.
I don't know how far I'll get through without screaming kids, but I was confused and struggling when I'm trying to find the page right now. I think it was under the talk. So on 26 and 27, I was wondering if you could touch on this, where he talks about, like, to me, it kind of reminded me of how we say affirmations, like me claiming like I am a national vice president. And he talks about the difference between like the guy who wrote the book, saying he was already something that he wasn't.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so super confusing. Like, how can I be careful to my mind in that particular situation with our affirmations?
You know what, honey? I saw that and I thought that too, because again, like, that was hard. And it was on page 24 at the top of it, where he says he says Upton not only realized that he would be defeated, but seemed somehow to have lost interest in the campaign that he was doing, because he had already acted like he did everything he was going to promise to do. And so I think it goes back down to being and doing, like, not just talk. We have to say it, but we have to do it at the same time. You know, we have to put up our social media posts, but we have to connect with people with that post that are connecting to it, or it's void of everything. It's empty. It's got nothing. So I think I think it's still good to have a goal and a vision, and you without a doubt are going there, but you have to have the discipline to always add the do. And that needs to be where you convict yourself. Like, okay, I'm saying this. And at the same time, Whitney, ask yourself, what am I doing today to make it happen? What's on my calendar today? How many people have I asked today? How many people have I told the story to today? Because that's what's going to get you to be the MVP that you say, I am an MVP. And we say all the time, act as if. But the key word in that is act. It's the verb. It's the action point that's going to get you there. You can't just say, I am an MVP. You have to act as if you are an MVP. And that's what we say in Arbonne all the time. We say, you know what? Are you the one that shows up early, that stays late, that, brings guests to every meeting, has guests on every Discover call that we do for our, things? You take advantage of every healthy living. Are you acting as if? Because that's what MVPs do. Okay. Does that help? Okay. I know I have to take what he writes and then think, how do we do that and use it and it not be something that's being a stumbling block for us? Believe me. Same thing with me too.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Hi.
Hi.
I am new to this book club and I am loving it.
Good.
What I really, really liked, and you kind of touched on it, and I don't have the pages because I listen to it because I'm driving a lot. So
I might be able to find it.
If I hadn't tried to read this, I think I would have fallen asleep every page. But what I really liked was his distinction between passion and purpose.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That just really hit me where, and it really made me rethink my why. Because passion really is about you, and I like to be and am a passionate person, but what is that bigger purpose? Mm-hmm. What is it I'm going to do for the world?
Right.
So I just thought that was kind of interesting and wondered if you kind of hit on that as well when you were reading through.
Yes. I mean, because I'm a passion-filled person, but my passion makes me do. It's not, I just don't be. Like, I am passionately sharing this 17 years into this business, because I am still living and walking and running with that passion that I felt 17 years ago, even more so today, because we're even better and my belief is bigger. And so I think that it is, true. I talk about passion all the time, but we have to, Shelley says on Facebook, we learn through, though we think big, we must act and live small in order to accomplish what we seek. And there may be more to that, but I'm afraid to touch it. I might turn off my thing. So, but he says, work quietly in the corner, which is kind of like what Shelley's saying on page 28. He says, they work quietly in the corner. They ignore the impulse to seek recognition before they act. And he says, they don't talk much or mind the feeling that others out there in the public are enjoying the limelight or somehow getting the better end of the deal. They're too busy working to do anything else. When they do talk, it's earned. The only relationship between work and chatter is that one kills the other. And so that's kind of probably what you're saying. Work and chatter, passion and purpose, one can kill the other if we're not careful, and let others slap each other on the back while you're back in the lab or the gym or pounding the pavement for your business and your purpose. Plug that hole, the one right in the middle of your face that can drain you in your vital life force. Watch what happens and watch how much better you get, because you're out there doing, you're not just talking. So that, you guys, that is in the talk chapter on page 27 and 28. And that last section is just talking about working quietly in the corner, which is what Shelley's saying is, live small. And this business is so opposite of culture. Zero self-gratification. Society says to be dependent on our emotions. Shelley, I wish you were on Zoom. Private victories daily. And that's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. When we stop having private victories in our own personal days with activity, with any area of our lives, we are floating. And you guys, if you start floating, you're going to float backwards and your business is going to go down. So, and it's not because that's bad, but if your business is going down, you've quit helping as many people with this vehicle and being faithful with it in your purpose. And that should convict you. That is where you should feel the pain of not doing something, because you've let what someone says or something you're telling yourself stop you from being from doing in this business with this vehicle. Thank you guys for asking these questions, because I mean, believe me, I mean, if you guys have areas or sections that you struggled with, let's chat it out, because I had to work it out too. And just let's not let titles, you guys, you know, I hate titles, and it's because they make you think you're bigger and better than you are, or they make you think you're worse than you are. A title has nothing to do with you. Just look at your check and your volume every month in a way that's how many people you help this month. And at the end of this month, it's going to zero out, because you know what? As long as there's breath in you, there's work to do. And you get to start over the next month and help the next group of people that are going to need you this month. And when you do that, you're going to make a difference. And that's the part that makes me cry, because it's so good, you guys. Do you know how blessed we are to have a vehicle like this, to be able to live out our purpose in such a way that it's bigger than anything you can ever do any other area of your life? I just went to a funeral this past week of a dear, amazing friend who died too young in my eyes, not in God's, but in mine, but was able to live and leave a huge legacy being a PE teacher. And I'm like, gosh, if she'd have done Armand, she would have left even a bigger legacy. That's the gift that we have. This is a gift. This vehicle is a gift. The days that you want to be frustrated with it, you need to turn around and remember to be grateful for it, because without it, you get to live smaller than you would ever get to live because you have it. And as amazing as a legacy that she left, what we have the opportunity to leave is even bigger. And it is the only thing we're doing here on this earth. She came into this world with nothing. She left this world, you guys, with nothing. But what she did for this world is going to make a difference. And that's what we're all here to do. So it's not the things, it's not the money, it's not the rewards, it's not the recognition, it's not the position that we are in this company, except that it's a gauge for how are you doing with this vehicle and how faithful are you being with it to your purpose and using it for your purpose.
Carlita, I wanted to share something really quick on titles, because you've said titles so much, and I know a lot of this chapter has been about that. And I don't want this to sound like a Debbie Downer in any way, but you guys, I want you guys, some of you guys don't even know me, but when I think of titles, I think of this week, I had 40 new reach outs to new people. I sent 40 new voice messages to people that I've never reached out to before. You guys, I heard back from one. I'm a region. I've promoted a region. Yeah. It doesn't matter your title. You still will be in the trenches in your business if you're growing it. You will have trenches. You will have ups and downs, and you just got to get yourself back. I mean, this week has been a little bit of a downer in my head, but I've just had to fill it with life, and that, no, you're going to come out of this. You know, you've been here before. You will come right up and out of this. And titles.
And you know what? It's seeds planted, honey. I mean,
right.
You guys,
oh, absolutely. I mean, oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. Seeds planted. You betcha. I mean, I've had people that did that in the beginning of my business were customers and joined me 10 years later in my business. So yeah, seeds planted. You never stop asking. You never stop asking.
We have a girl under Tammy Clinton's team that has been in the business 9 years and didn't do anything, and now is going region in 4 months. You know,
crazy.
So like, you just have to say, okay, you know what? Just stay faithful with what you have. Don't let ego make you want to control it to be anything different, but do your job to make sure that those people that you've asked, they're still on your list, because they haven't heard the story yet. They haven't talked to you about their obstacles or hesitations yet. And until they have, they're on your list. And we're going to follow up, and we're going to follow up, and we're going to follow up until we get to talk to them.
And somebody posted something somewhere, and Laura Fortner said this. No, not Laura Fortner. Who was it? Somebody said consistency is your biggest key in your business. And that's it, you guys. Consistency, because it doesn't matter your title. You have to be consistent or you will lose your title.
Right.
You
Yeah.
will lose it.
And even with the title, you can stay a title, but you can still have 0 in your numbers. You know, you can be a district and do 0. You can be an area and do 0. You can be a region and have 0. Does it matter? Like, are we using it and doing it for the right reasons? Having that title and doing 0 is nothing. So make your numbers count for something. Anyone else?
Carlita,
Yes.
I just want to say something that I'm always reminded of when I'm talking or reading about ego, and this book brought it to mind again. And it just takes me back. I was just probably, a little kid, maybe 8-10 years old. I don't remember. But I was at my grandmother's house, which I was a lot. And she was just, a great influence. But, and she was tough, but I was pouty about something. And she said, when you are feeling that way, that means you're thinking about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
She said, now you need to, when you feel that way, you need to do something for someone else right then.
That's good.
So she said, go get a dust rag right now and go in there and dust the living room.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so everybody who has children, when they get pouty, give them a job to do. That is perfect. I love it. We were just talking, I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday about her daughter, and that's, I'm going to make sure she hears that. Awesome. Anybody else? Okay. Well, guys, thank you for joining me in this and being on this journey with me and helping me keep my ego in check. And we're going to do this, you guys, and we're on and doing a great thing. So let's just go do more of it this week for all the right reasons and watch and see what kind of responses we get out of it when we do. I love you all.